And we're back again with the 52-week Coleman challenge. This is week 21. And the challenge this week is a big pot of. And I left that real open so anybody could do whatever they wanted. So what we're going to do this week is something a little bit different. We're going to cook fiddlehead ferns. I understand these are fairly uncommon for folks who aren't from the Northeast, specifically Maine and Atlantic Canada. But you do see them all around New England. I picked these up in northern Maine. And while I was at camp last week, we ate a whole bunch of these. I probably had 3 or 4 pounds just myself. So what we're going to do today is not actually cook them for dinner. We're going to blanch them and prepare them for freezing. So you can see that because they're a natural product, you get all kinds of weird variations. And you get these weird tails, and we're going to first pick those off. While we're de-stemming, we'll also weed out the bad ones. Okay, the next important step is to clean our fiddleheads real well. So the easiest way is when in a colander or a bowl of water, and you get them good and wet, and rinse 3 or 4 times. The fiddleheads develop when they're growing. They get a papery coating on the outside, and we want to make sure that's all removed. It doesn't taste real good and doesn't have any nutritional value. And really, if you just flood them, that stuff will float to the top. Finally, our water is good and boiling. Our fiddleheads are clean. We're going to put them into the water and we're going to let them blanch. Takes about 5 minutes depending on how powerful your stove is. The 413 is a good choice for this. It's a good powerful stove. I'm going to put these in. And when I do that, it'll kill the boil. And basically what you do, cook them until the boil comes back. And when they boil again, they're done. This is a cinnamon fern. When it uncoils, it'll have sort of brown or tan cinnamon colored tips. And the cinnamon fern is the good fiddlehead, the best fiddlehead. The worst fiddlehead is the bracken fern, where I come from in northern Maine. They call them brake. Brake will have a furry white coating on this, and when you cook them, the water instantly turns completely black. So anyway, cinnamon ferns are good for you. There's nothing wrong with them. Cook them well to make sure that there's no chemicals or whatever, hanging onto the fern, because these do grow outside. The brakes, the bracken fern, are apparently carcinogenic. I did a little bit of research for this video, and they're not for doing. So cinnamon fern, good. These are nice and green and smooth. If they were kind of white and furry, that's brake. That's not for doing. Brake will also be super bitter. They're really gross. You don't want to eat those. Okay, our water's boiling again. I've turned the stove way down because I'm going to do another batch. I want to keep the water warm, but I don't want it to continue to boil. I'm going to scoop these guys out into my bowl, and then I'm going to run cold water on them. We want to stop the cooking process. All we need to do is blanch. Picked, cleaned, blanched, cooled, ready for bagging. These are Ziploc brand vacuum seal bags. And the nice thing about them is they've got a line right there, and I'm going to fill up to about that line, so 2/3 of the way full. And these are vacuum seal bags. They come with a little vacuum pump. And I've used these many times before. And with the vacuum seal, these will keep well for about a year. At least a year. Alright, so fill them up. And a trick I have learned is to pinch them mostly closed. Leave a little bit open, and then turn the bag upside down. There is still a fair amount of water in these, and the pump, the little vacuum pump, doesn't deal well with the water. I'm gonna fill all my bags first. Take the little pump, squeeze the air out of the bag, close the bag good, and there's a little pump spot. Vacuum sealed. Frozen fiddleheads ready for the freezer. So something completely different for week 21. And we'll see you next week.